Cheers.
True. Yeah, here we are. How's it going?
Great. Happy Wine Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. We are here with you. This is Carl. Here's Mira. Across the country, Carl's Wine Club members, Canadian wine lovers, welcome. Welcome to our fun stuff that we want to talk about with all of you guys. We are here for the next hour. So a fun show coming up. A lot of things to talk about, some new project. We're going to announce you today what we've been cooking in the last month or so. Also, we're going to talk about this. Yes, this is Enovino. This is our new tool that I like to use every single day. Also, we're going to talk about this one for all. We're putting another order for our favorite ultimate wine glasses, the Gabriel glass. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about decanting, aeration. We're going to talk about one of the craziest grape growing region that I have experienced personally, probably ever. I feel like if I traveled back in time in the 1800 last weekend. So I want to talk about that because Mira and we were like, wow. So let's talk about the region of Lillooet. Where? Yeah, exactly. Lillooet, northern BC, the most northern region, growing region in Canada. So some pretty cool stuff up there. Let's talk about that because we have some crazy picture to show you. We've tasted some amazing wines, and we're excited to announce what's happening next week. Mira Boucher, how's it going? Not yet? Okay. She's here.
Hey. Good. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, hi, Mom. My mom just joined. So, dis bonjour, maman. Un beau bonjour en français. Savez-vous quoi? Ça fait longtemps que j'ai pas fait un beau bonjour en français à nos gens du Québec. Donc, je veux dire un beau bonjour à ma maman, Victoriaville, les membres du Québec, un beau bonjour. Vous nous supportez, les membres grands grossistes. Il y a de plus en plus de membres qui s'accumulent dans la belle région de Québec. On s'en vient avec des mandats assez clairs, avec notre nouveau projet qu'on va vous annoncer ce soir. On vient de signer 8 vignobles sur un projet spécial de 6 mois. Donc, on vous en parle un petit peu plus tard. Aujourd'hui, on parle d'un aérateur pour le vin. Donc, décanter les vins très, très rapidement, un verre à la fois. On va parler de Enovino. On va parler de nos verres Gabriel. Ensuite, on va parler de la région de Lillooet. So, un beau bonjour à tout le monde. Joanne Bergeron, je pense que c'est la région de Trois-Rivières, si je me rappelle bien. Sinon, je suis complètement dans le champ. Ensuite, les gens de la Ville de Québec, un beau bonjour. Jean-Denis puis sa gang, Pierre Nollet. Au Québec, la Rive-Sud, la région de Neuchâtel, la région de l'Estrie et les cantons de l'Est, la région des vins de Québec. Un beau bonjour à tout le monde. De plus en plus, on reçoit beaucoup de notes en français, des demandes pour dégustation. Donc, on est très excités. Un beau bonjour à Canada, la région d'Ottawa. Français, anglais pour la région. Bon, un beau bonjour à Gil et à sa gang. Trois-Rivières, yes, I got it, nailed it. Here you go. Donc, un beau bonjour à tout le monde. Here we are. Please let us know where are you tuning from and what's in your glass tonight.
And yes, we got some pretty sweet ones. So I think Joan is having Harmonious, Siren's Call. Yum.
Yeah. Hey, Joanne, speaking about Harmonious and Siren's Call, I'm having a phone call with Mark Simpson tonight, talking about more stuff with Siren's Call. So, beau bonjour. Yes. Daryl Hickey, my man. Daryl, how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
Lisa's
What's in
here.
your glass tonight, Daryl?
Hey, Daryl. Lisa's here. They're finishing off a bottle of Il Fano. I don't know. You must know what that is, Carl.
Probably no. She probably mean Il Forno. Possible?
And last night they had a winner of Riverstone Cab Franc 2009.
Yes, it was Jared's birthday last night. So Jared, again, from all of us here at Carl's Wine Club, from all of our team, everyone at the office. Okay, Mira and I. We want to wish you again happy birthday. Hope your Riverstone Cab Franc was good. Daryl have tonight the Pinot Noir 17 from Westcott. So hello. Thank you, Daryl. Westcott, one of our favorites we had last night. What did you have last night, Mira?
The 2020 Butler's Grant Riesling, which we tasted along with a bunch of other Rieslings, and we never checked we're too disorganized to check the prices and stuff sometimes before. So I said, Carl, this Riesling is fantastic. Out of the 3 or 4 we tasted, I was like, that's my favorite. And I said, probably this is like $30. And we checked and it was $18.99 including tax. So that is a heck of a good Riesling. Must try. And it's their first time they've done Riesling, or at least from that place, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the second vintage or the first vintage, either or. Maybe 19 was the first vintage. But if it's not the first, it's the second. But wow, it's from a very well-established vineyard. So the Riesling, it's the only grape that they buy that they're having from a grower. From all of the rest, Chards, Cab Franc, it's all estate grown for Westcott. But their Riesling is from a source that they've been sourcing. I think it's a new thing. So no, I guess what? It's maybe from their new vineyard that they just bought. That's maybe it. I think
yes,
yeah.
I think that's it is. Yeah,
I need to check that out because we have lots of homework to do concerning Westcott. You tell me when you want to announce the whole thing. Maybe should we wait for the second half of the show to announce it? Now that we have teased a bunch of people, let them marinate it a little bit for a good half an hour. Come on.
Yes, it's a fun project that you'll see like official announcements probably in 2 weeks, but yeah, we'll let you guys in.
The launch is in 2 weeks, so we're gonna announce it. I want to tell them tonight. These guys are tuning in with us. So after it's like first half an hour
preview, and then we'll talk about it more later. But the project is called Carl's Cellar.
It's a new marketplace that we're putting together for long-term offer from very steady wineries all at the same time. So Carl's Cellars. So here, Gail Butler. Gail is having Burnship Bay. Gail, I want to hear. Tell me during the show. Tell everyone who's listening. What do you think about Burnship Bay Sauv Blanc? Please, I walked the vineyard personally. I want to hear.
$15.95 including tax, that one, and I think if you bought it in the 12 pack, it goes down like it would have been like 12 something for that one because there was a 10 minutes. So
let's see here who's drinking what because Carmenere Can is drinking Carmenere from Calgary, Ken McAllister. There you go. So Il Fono, yes, I was right.
Gail, it sounds like that's awesome, Gail. 6 glass night on the Gail and Mira scale. Yes, we need that sometimes in the middle of the week. A fun night, awesome.
And also, let's tell people it's not too late. We have not shut down the offer for a very specific reason because we don't want to. The offer is there, still rolling. We're not promoting it, but if people want to order more, the Burnship Bay offer, it keeps rolling. Okay, so Marcel, we had a call with Marcel and with the team at Burnship Bay, and they said keep it rolling as long as you want. So as long as the member wants to order and keep posting how good it is, and people who haven't bought it wants to give it a try, you guys go ahead, okay?
That's awesome.
Who's impressed?
Gail saying her wine arrived within 24 hours of ordering. They are phenomenal out there at Burnt Ship, aren't they? That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's special.
Where's that from, John?
Oh,
I don't.
so John is having the 2018 Clubhouse White from Rockaway Vineyards, and I haven't heard of Rockaway Vineyards, so I'm curious where that's located. I could
Okay.
Google it later, but maybe John knows right away. I don't know. Yes, and then someone's tuning in from Toronto, having a Sauv Blanc had the Sauv Blanc from Burn Ship the other night. Was super impressed. So that is phenomenal.
There you go. No, let's keep in mind, and I want to repeat it again. $15.95,
including tax. That's the crazy part.
That's the part, right? That's the thing we need to understand. Yes, a $30 wine was like really good. Yeah, whoop whoop. But come on, $15.95, and this is a single vineyard wine. Single vineyard. It's not grapes from all over the freaking country here who they made a fruit salad with it, and there's a little bit of everything. No. Single vineyard Sauv Blanc.
Yeah, totally. It's pretty special that you see these kinds of handcrafted single vineyard wines for that kind of price. Crazy. All right, so Carl Boucher, we're doing another fun experiment tonight, aren't we? What is that?
Yes. Okay.
So
first and foremost, this is my new toy. Yeah.
All right. So
okay.
what's cool about this?
There's a.
The first thing people need to know is we're a wine club dedicated to promoting Canadian wine because we think is heck of a good world-class wine that we're producing out here. And the cool thing about that is it was actually designed from someone in the wine industry in Canada, and it's owned by this Canadian. And we love that because it's somebody in the Canadian wine industry that said, wait a second, we need a way to decant and aerate wines quickly without as much, especially during COVID, be able to clean the equipment really well between uses. This was created with that in mind. And part of it is that it can work in a commercial dishwasher, which none of the other products on the market can do. So anyway, tell us.
Wait a minute here. And it's not only about this, it's also because the guy who designed it has a large background in restaurant, hotel. So one thing here, it's about the pour by the glass in restaurant, right? So what's easy to make a good pour with a wine sometime and very often need to have a little bit of aeration, needs to be decanted. So this freaking cool guy here, the guy was very knowledgeable, not only about wine, but also about need. What do we need? So it's a tool where you can filter the wine, make sure there's no sediment coming in my glass, and make sure that I aerate the wine because you cannot decant all of the freaking thing in a busy restaurant all the time. Or if you're sitting at home, if it's not for restaurant purposes, and you don't want to drink a whole bottle, you want to decant it. And this is my new line in the last couple of days, decanting my wine one glass at a time. It's not pouring a bottle, waiting for 2 hours, let it breathe. You can do it one glass at a time. So this is an aerator, a filter, a pour that can do the perfect pour also. And like Mira mentioned, this is dishwasher safe. This is 100%. The rubber here, it's not plastic. It's silicone. So
food grade silicone.
Food grade. So the whole shebang, everything. So I was in contact with that guy who is one of my favorite freaking person in the wine business. And if people want to know, this is our friend Marcel Morgenstern from Bellaterra. Marcel is a freak. He's always thinking. So Marcel patented that darn thing. And he said, Carl,
it's got some crazy stuff. It's like FDA approved. It's like EU approved. So this is not, I mean, no offense to whoever gave this to us, but we got one of those inexpensive aerators once as a gift from like a corporate thing, right? It had their logo on it, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I did put it in the dishwasher once and it kind of cracked and
I know it cracked and melted. It melted.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the real deal. It costs.
This is the real deal.
It's not the most expensive one. It's not the cheapest one, but you know, it's the thing that people in restaurants and tasting rooms use, which means it's the real deal. So
It is. And so what I want to do tonight, I want to taste side by side a glass of wine who has been aerated, who has been just put pop and pour. So I have a bottle here of Fort Barons Cabernet Franc that I'm going to open. Okay. And I'm going to pour straight in our Gabriel, all for one, Gabriel glass.
there you go.
Okay. I'm going to pour 2 glass, one for you, one for me. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to do that. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the Vino in there. I'll push the thing. I'll take the little, yeah. Put that out. And now look at that. It gives me a spout, okay, little spout here for a perfect pour. So like that, I don't have to, and look at this. So that tube here going all the way in, and I'm going to pour. I'm going to decant my wine here. 1 glass. And I'm going to decant a 2nd glass. So well aerated here side by side. And so here what I'm going to do, I'll put the lid back on. And this now, because with the silicone, there is a little bit of like it's squished it in so the air doesn't come in. So now it's protecting my wine until I'm ready to drink another glass tomorrow. So preserve it as well. So I have here a set for Mira and a set for Carl. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tease them side by side. Pretty cool. Let me put a little mark on Mira's glass to make sure she knows.
Yes, thank you. And I'll come right over and pick it up.
Yeah, you come right over. Okay, here. There you go. Boom. So we're going to taste that. Also, one more thing I wanted to add before we go forward is about the decanting. Okay, I have my beautiful decanter here. Okay, this is my Gabriel decanter. Oh, Mira is here.
Hello.
There you go.
All right, so which one's mine?
So this is my set. This
one's mine. Okay.
Okay, this one is yours.
So,
but before you know anything, like I want you to try and tell me which one is what. And I'm going to tell everyone why we do that and what's the effect on the wine as well.
okay.
So
Well, I'll go over to my spot.
So first and foremost here, the decanter, because if I host people, I know that a Saturday night we're having people over, or Mira and I, like last week, we're cracking a bottle of 2013 Nota Bene, and I'm at home, I have time, and so middle of the afternoon or late afternoon, I'm going to decant the wine, let it sit, the whole romance. It's fun. I love it. But during the week, you don't necessarily know what's going on. And if you decant a full bottle of wine, you don't drink it all. So now you have to pour it back in the bottle. But after it's been decanted for a couple of hours, it doesn't last until the day after or the second day or the third day for a very specific reason, because the wine was already aerated. It's already oxygenated. So now your wine will fall off the cliff pretty quick. And the day after, you get right away the oxidized part, the notes that often I don't really enjoy. So decanting and putting the leftover back in the bottle to enjoy the day after, it's not necessarily the most enjoyable thing ever. So that's part number one. And we experienced it last week with the Nota Bene. Even if Nota Bene is one of the tightly knit wine, one of the big boy producing Canada, well, guess what? You know, after the second day, if it was decanted the day before, it's kind of falling apart quickly, and it's not a structure. So here what we have with the Enovino, with what we have here, instead of decanting your whole bottle, you can just decant one glass at a time. To me, that's a big, big, big thing. So, and what it would do, so for people, sometimes it's not necessarily a thing. I don't decant my wine. Why should I decant my wine? What would it do? Decanting your wine, because most of the wine you find on the shelf in any retail store, this is the new release of wine. So currently, the whites and the rosés you find on the shelf in retail are 2020 vintage. Okay, now it's late 2021. We're drinking 2020. When it's time for red, usually we're drinking right now on the shelf 2018, 2019 vintage. That's what retail store are offering. That's the current vintage available for everyone. Obviously, once in a while with Carl's Wine Club or in your specialty shop that you know will have some back vintage or some wine that they're holding on to for a couple years. So what age does, it round up the wine a little bit more. So here we are in presence of wine a little bit more round, a little bit more creamy, a little bit more amalgamated. So all of the flavors are more blended together. When you drink the new vintage, sometimes the wine's a little stiff, the wine is a little tight, and with aeration, with oxygen goes in the bottle, go in the wine, open up the molecule of the wine, change the texture of the wine, and change also the structure, in a sense that the wine gets a little bit more approachable. That's why you try, if you have a cellar, hold on to your bottle until the maximum window of drinkability. At sometimes it's a period of 4 or 5 years where the wine is at its prime. By aerating the wine and let it sit either in a decanter for an hour or so, or using the Enovino, it accelerates its aging because the air goes in the bottle, open up the molecule, and instead of having something like in your face, something stiff, something not only grippy, because some wines like Cabernets or Merlots or Cab Franc will have a natural grip in there, but there's that little more softness into the tannin, when the tannin is the feeling of the grip that you feel in your head with big reds. So that will help open up the wine and make it a little softer. Okay.
I love that. And okay, John's saying, do you think an open bottle of red wine should go into the fridge at the end of the night until the next time?
Not big a fan, because if the wine goes in the fridge, or you have to take it out again, and you have to take it out again the day after and let it sit for a few hours outside, so the wine comes back to a more room temperature. And for me, a red wine a little too cold, and specifically if it's not the proper grape, you can have like some lighter Pinots or some Gamay or some PTG that pass to gray, a little chill. But if you serve it too cold, you don't get the whole spectrum of flavor. Okay. So you don't get the whole spectrum of flavor, because for me, the cold temperature kind of frees some of aspect of it. So no, the fridge has never been my go-to. And I'm seeing Lisa here, our friend Lisa Gunnarsson, who's tuning in, and she's commenting. I was with Lisa visiting Phantom Creek this summer.
Oh,
they used to be I say used to be a wine club member at Phantom Creek, and these small details matters a lot. And here is the story here. We showed up at Phantom Creek the first time slot in the morning, so Friday morning at 10 a.m. right at the opening. They stored the wine in the fridge overnight, and we got there And as the first guess, we got the white tasting, and then when it's time to taste the reds are cold.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I don't think that I had the full spectrum of flavors of the reds at Phantom Creek because the wines were cold. I didn't get I get the grip, but I don't get the juiciness of the wine. I didn't get these dark chocolate, these plummy flavor, all of that, like the middle palate was completely gone. So I got the acidity, I got the pull, and I got nothing else around. So that's what. And sorry, Lisa, I'm not putting you under this. I hope you don't feel I'm putting you under the spotlight here. It was not about you. It was about the details of drinking a red wine too cold, just to bring the point to John, putting my wine in the fridge at night. I don't do that. Some people don't mind. I think I miss too much of the potential of the wine. So I feel like if I completely went off the rail here and I'm not.
No, I like one thing that you mentioned, right, Carl, which I've always found it surprising, is you were like, there's certain wines you don't want to decant, especially older wines, right? You can actually kill an older wine sometimes if you decant it, because if it's at the kind of, each wine has this, like the peak of drinkability, and then it starts to go back down. And if you catch it near the end there, you can actually kill it and it's oxidized. So tell us more about that. And then I like what Elaine's saying here too. We'll wrap around to that in a sec.
Yeah, so and there's very little selection out there where the wines are at the end of their window of drinkability. So if you decant it, so when I get to a 10-year window, especially for the bigger grapes, and sometimes, but also Pinots, but mostly Pinots, I'm going to go 5 to 7 years. That's where my ultimate window of drinkability. After 7 years, to me, that's where it's an aged wine. If you go to Cab Franc, 7 years for some region, it's also an aged wine. And when you get Cabs, Merlots, Meritage, and some of these bigger type of grapes, or Petit Verdot or whatever, now I'm getting a 10 years of age. After that, this is risky to decant that wine unless it's been decanted extremely carefully. And with age, you often get the sediment. So with that Enovino, you don't get sediment in the glass as well. And when you decant the older wine, you definitely don't let it sit a long time in the decanter unless you really enjoy the tertiary aromas, the little deoxidized profile. If you like that, absolutely, you go ahead. But this is not my jam. So
unless you're Elaine, because Elaine had a 50-year-old wine once that absolutely needed 2 hours of decanting. So that must have been a heck of a wine, Elaine.
Oh, absolutely, right?
Sounds awesome.
So I'm having some visitor here coming in.
Hey, visitor.
Would you like to give it a smell? Yeah? No? Dark cherries, plum? No, not the taste. Just the... There you go. So can you let me finish? Yes, what's the question?
Can I go to the park tonight?
After, yes.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I just committed to go to the playground. Can you please close the door now? Crazy what they can do to us when you're in a crunch, right?
Elaine, tell us what wine that was. We're super curious now.
Yes, I am really curious about it too. Usually when you get to the 50-year-old, we talk about Bordeaux's. Usually Bordeaux's will be my first choice. There might be a Tête de Cuvée from the Châteauneuf du Pape. It might be a Brunello, or now that I'm thinking, maybe a Barolo. Barolo from the Piemonte in Italy is a very austere type of wine made from Nebbiolo, and often it takes the older style also of Nebbiolo, of Barolos, took 20 years just to soften up just a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if it's a Barolo. But if you ask me, I will guess Bordeaux, Barolo, or maybe a Châteauneuf older style. So that's my guess. But coming back of what's common here in our Canadian wine cellars of what we as Canadian have, it's mostly and before we started Carl's Wine Club, what I used to do, I was a wine consultant for collectors, and then what I was doing cellar management. And the first step was to go assess the wine cellar and see what people had. And outside of the dead wine, that 10 to 15% of the wine in the cellar was already dead and passed. The majority of the wine, it's from the release vintage and the 5 years prior to that. That's 80% of what people has. So yeah, that's why that Enovino, it's super efficient for what we do. It's, to me, again, my line is to decant one glass at a time. So yeah.
Totally. Hey, Elaine had another quick good point there.
There you go.
Pinot Noir, Pinot Noir needs sort of colder temperatures. Maybe other wines need colder temperature. Oh, and then she's letting us know 1970 Faustino Tinto Gran Reserva. Sounds amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, this is Spanish. I should have thought of that. Old school Spanish. And the temp, usually the Riojas, a little bit like the Barolos in Italy, are really old school. Takes forever before opening up. And yeah, these are. So here, I'm just testing both here. Mira, can you tell me if you taste any difference in your glass? Because definitely my glass here that I use my Enovino on is way softer.
Yeah, and I like that we have the same glass, because I do find that glassware makes a difference, especially in the nose. But I definitely sense a difference. I kind of feel like this one is a little more fruity. So this is the marked one. I get less, I don't know, less fruit on this one. What was the marked one? Is the marked one the Enovino one? Yeah.
And just softer. Softer.
Softer and kind of makes you think a little bit more. It's more. Okay, so let's try. Yeah, Lisa.
And I got my spice. I got the spice coming up softly after, and it's not as choppy. It's not as compartmented, and I think it's a little bit more homogen. So I have all of these flavors.
Homogenized is what.
Homogenized, yeah. So I kind of feel like it's all blended together nicely, smoothly. So, and it's definitely
the mouth feel on the Enovino one. Like you're saying, it's rounder. It's almost silkier. Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's, a lot smoother. So this one. Yeah, this one I get a teeny bit of, not bitterness, but it's pointier as it goes down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point. That's why you decant the wine, is to get rid of the edges.
That is crazy, actually. I've got to reflect on that for a second, because I've never done this before. You, sir, know about this because you've been tasting wines in all different ways. But to me, that's never tried this experiment. And yes, you can try this at home. That is so different. That's fascinating.
Oh, it is. It is, definitely.
Yeah, this is pointier. This is the one that hasn't been
sharper to me, because you have not get rid of the edges. And that's the whole point of decanting the wine. Put aside the whole, the 25, 30 years old wine just to keep the sediment in the bottle, because it happened really rarely. So not a whole lot of people who are tuning in right now have a 25, 30 or 50-year-old wine in their wine cellar. So I will take that out of the equation. Let's keep it. Let's talk about the 5-year-old wine. So that's the best way to get rid of the edge. That's why you decant the wine. That's why you plan the whole thing in the weekend. What are we having on Saturday? What are we cooking? We're going to pop that bottle, this and that. At 4 o'clock, we're going to decant the wine. It's going to be ready for 6:30. It's a whole process. And when you have 3 kids between 5 and 12, that you don't have fucking time to talk about the whole thing. Okay, I'm just telling you, all of you. And I'm sure that many people think the same way. It's like, whoa, 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 like it should be easy. But yeah, the whole thing is with the Enovino, what you do, or you just got that, put that in the bottle, take the pop up, and you pour the glass, and that's decanting your wine 1 glass at a time. So that's why I really like it. And again, all of the benefit, it's dishwasher safe, it's FDA grade, like it gives you the perfect pour because you have the spouts here. It preserves until the day after. It filtrates it if you have sediment. So you got everything you need. So
yeah. So Arthur and Daryl have some good comments here around oxidation and what happens to the wine the second day. It's quite an interesting thing. I posted something about this the other day in our group, and they were like, wine on the second day? What is this strange notion? But but Arthur's saying, afraid to have a bottle sit overnight for fear it will change in a way I don't like. And an interesting thing we found is sometimes it changes for the better and we like it more.
Oh,
like
yeah.
do. And then other times it doesn't. It kind of goes flat. So like a pop that sat overnight. So that's an interesting one. Daryl has a really good point here. He's saying, disagrees with you, Carl, respectfully. Oxidation is a chemical process. It's slowed by colder temperatures. And that if you take the wine out 15, 20 minutes in a glass, the glass is a smaller volume, so it'll warm up. So that's, potentially. And I have heard a lot of people who are into wine say they use the fridge, the cooler to kind of prolong the life more than a couple days. If you do have this predicament of leftover wine. Daryl's also warning us that many times wine by the glass in a restaurant is yesterday's unfinished bottles. And also he finds whites don't stay as well after they've been opened. So interesting stuff. You got to find what you like. Arthur, as something that we do, we actually look forward to that experiment. Even if we love the bottle the way it was that night, we leave a teeny bit just for the next day. We have this air pump that takes the air out of the bottle. And then just try it the second day just to see as a fun experiment. So it kind of takes the fear out of it.
For me, the pump, it's more for the second day after, if there is. So because the day after, I usually see only improvement if the bottle was pop and pour. I don't see a whole lot of falling off the cliff unless it's a very entry level wine or a very old wine. We might have the fall off the cliff effect, but I don't see. So the pump, I like it if I know that I'm gonna have to wait maybe a day or two. The pump take the air out and it protects it a little better. How better? Of course, now when we're talking 2 to 3 days, we're gonna see a little bit of hint of the oxidation, but yeah. And no worries, Daryl. You are not taking it disrespectfully at all. I like arguing. I like your point of view. To me, I clearly feel that it mutes the wine in the fridge, and not something that I enjoy.
And it's something that Carl, and now me by association, we're a bit wine geeks now. So like Carl doesn't even like his his white wines chilled sometimes, right?
Most of the time, I will try to.
You want to get flavors, right? So, good way to mask a wine that's a little off is to chill it. But yeah, Arthur has a great point. He has 3 decanters he's broken. We've broken some pretty expensive decanters. They're not cheap. We're talking like the nice crystal ones. They're like hundreds of dollars, right?
No, this is close. It's 280 or 300 something, right? For this,
something, yeah. And we actually have that available. It's beautiful if you're entertaining, and it's a really handy way to pour the wine and all that. But great point, Arthur. For everyday drinking, the Enovino for $35, including shipping, It's a great alternative and pretty much indestructible when it comes to comparing to glass, especially, right?
There's a very clear this really clear distinction between both of the wines right now.
I totally sense it too.
You don't even need to look at the dot on your feet of the wine. It's really clear when you taste it. The softness is clearly. And here I have what I've done here. It's a 2018 wine, a Cabernet Franc from Lillooet. So, yeah.
Vicky is here. Hey, Vicky. Always thought if you want to hide something in a wine, chill it. It's true. Unless it's really hot out and you know your wine's going to get like hot if you don't chill it, then we prefer it room temperature or cellar temperature. So,
well, I also like to taste both, right? I also like I remember, I think was it with Priest Creek with the Gewürztraminer? Was it the Gewürz or the Pinot Gris? No, the Pinot Gris was definitely the one I liked it more room temperature. But with the Gewürz was shining at a higher, a little colder. I really like to try both. And yes, you often with the white, I will pour the first glass and let it warm up a little bit, like Daryl was talking about the 20 minutes where but on the white wine I don't feel the mutation, like it doesn't get as muted as the red, and I think the red fall in a little bit of a dormant phase after warming up. So yeah, that's all my whole opinion on that. So Gail is saying, should aerator be used for all wine or just leftover wine? No, absolutely not. We're not talking about leftover here, Gail. We're talking about fresh open bottle.
Yeah. The aerator for the freshly opened bottles. The leftover wine is a different thing. We were just talking about, how it oxidizes over time. But when it's freshly opened, that's when you want to aerate it. Yeah, because essentially what it does is it speeds up the oxidation when you aerate it. So you get a wine that's like freshly opened through the aerator. It's like a wine that's been open for 4 hours. And for many wines, that's when it's
time for the leftover. You pull the, unless if there is no sediment, pull the vino out and you just pop and pour. As per Joanne says the vino will keep the wine for more than 2 days compared to the pumping. I would say to preserve your wine longer, and vino, it's not the point of the vino. No, is what you want to do. The point of the vino will be to when you open the bottle. Now it's speed up the aging in a sense that it gets the oxygen in the molecule of the wine and open it up right away instead of waiting for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours, like depending on which type of wine you're drinking that night. So yeah.
And then Elaine's saying aerator, decanter, and fresh pour, comparing them. That's an interesting tasting. And so here we've got half of that. I mean, we've got the fresh pour and we've got the aerator. It would be interesting to see how it compares with something that's been left out in a decanter for a few hours. But for sure, between the fresh pour, like open and pour into this glass versus pour it open, pour through the aerator in this glass, this one through the aerator is a much more enjoyable wine than this one. And it's a noticeable difference because this one hasn't been aerated and it's sharper around the edges. Like it just feels sharper in your mouth. Some people love that. Some people want that. For me, I prefer the rounder kind of experience where I can sense all the different things going on in the wine more easily. And so that's what the aerator does for you instantly, as opposed to pouring it into a decanter and letting it sit for a few hours, right? And Jeanette has a fabulous question, which I always thought, oh yeah, you only want to decant red wine, right? But what about white wine?
Yeah, and in my restaurant days, I used to do oaky Chardonnay, big full body Viogniers, Also, big. Let's say some white Bordeaux blend. I would decant these wines at a young age. I will put them in a decanter, sit the decanter on the bed of ice, and let it sit while the guests were enjoying the first and the second glass. Now, with the Enovino, to me, I would say probably mostly for red. But yes, if you have a young Chardonnay that you think when you taste it first, you're like, man, feels pretty tight here. Put your Enovino in there and boom, get him a shot. Pour one glass in your Enovino, and I'm telling you, it will be the same. It would give a very, very good shot to your big full body white. So yeah.
Totally. And Daryl's got another good point. Sometimes when we open a bottle, you just pop and pour like right away. You get some weird aromas in the first 15 or 20 minutes. And that's from the sulfur, like the preservative that they use in there, right? So aerating can get rid of that weird initial aromas.
Yeah, because to preserve the wine, usually you're going to do a little spray. You're going to spray the top of the bottle. And sometimes you get it like you feel a little fizzy and on tip of your tongue. And yes, that's the sulfur and the sulfite who preserve the whole thing. So yes, decanting, get rid of that. And
so I have to say, Carl, you know how I have this primitive rating system. Do I like it or not? And how many glasses would I drink? I also have a kind of primitive, you know, other way of telling what wine I like, which is which one do I reach for more? When there's two options in front of me, which one do I keep reaching for? And it's this one with with the Enovino, because it's just more enjoyable. Like it's just more smooth and enjoyable to drink. So that's a good telltale for my my primitive wine enthusiast skills.
Look, here. I'm not so primitive, but look at my.
Yeah, it's a real telltale. And I don't know if you guys were watching a couple weeks ago when Carl blind tasted me on 3 wines, like a $35 wine, a $16 wine, and like a $9 wine. And at one point I wanted to go for the nicer wines, and I grabbed the $9 wine. I was like, and I literally spat it back in. I was like, that was the wrong one.
And Elaine just mentioned nice glass. So Elaine, that was the other point of our email this week, because we have not done an offer this week, but we have a
winery. We didn't feature a winery this week, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so we're putting another order to the manufacturer down in the States for our Gabriel glasses. So these, if you look at, maybe Mira can put the offer, the link of the offer in the comment box if you want to go check it out. These are the Gabriel glass. They're Austrian crystal. These have been designed by sommeliers to be a one-fit-all. And what does it mean? It's done the days where you have a Pinot glass, a Chardonnay glass, a Cabernet glass, a blend glass, or whatever it is, or also the flute and this and that. These glass have been specifically made to be one fit all. The curve inside here and the lips slightly coming back up, just go. And to me, when I tasted with my Gabriel, when I tasted the Gabriel glass 18 months ago, probably.
Yeah, it was at Martin's Lane. The first time you went to Martin's Lane, that all their
to me, my relationship with wine. I tasted wine, and I've been tasting wine for 25 years. I am not saying that for 25 years I tasted in crappy wine, but these specific one to me absolutely changed my perspective of the relationship and the connection with the wine, the nose. Okay, but like so I have a pretty.
You have a pretty big nose. Is that what you're going to say?
I do. And this is just, I don't know. This is my favorite glassware on the market. There's also the gold one, but the gold are too thin for me. They're too light. I feel like the glass will snap every time I swirl. These ones, and they're $40 a pop. They're not overly expensive. Like obviously some people will say, what, $40 for a wine glass? It's absolutely criminal. There's wine glasses out there at $100 and $125 a pop. This at 40, I think this is the most, a premium glass at the best price. And I love this. We use that exclusively in our house until when Mira goes on the rampage and break, like, but this is a different story.
Yeah, I have a problem breaking them. I sat on one live one time, remember that? But I have to say, okay, so Carl, when he first found out about the Gabriel glass, he comes back from a trip to Kelowna. We were living in Calgary at the time last year, and he's like so excited about a glass. I'm like, well, how was the winery? And he's like, oh, the winery was great. Wines were great, but you should see these glasses they had. He was just blown away because we frequently break glasses because we have kids and I don't know, we don't do our dishes well enough, you know, like there's always too many dishes and then something falls off the counter or whatever. Thanks, Elaine. and so he comes back and he's raving about his trip to Martin's Lane. We were so excited for him to go because it's this crazy winery, kind of world-class winery. And like, how was it? And he's like, oh, the glassware. And the doorknobs, there were no doorknobs. He said he felt like he was in a James Bond movie or something. But yeah, so I said, well, we got to track down these glasses, Carl, because we were always trying to find nice glasses. Carl always had this shape in mind too. I can't tell you how many times I went on Amazon and I got pictures of glasses and he'd be like, nope, don't like that shape. No, it has to look kind of like exactly he's describing this. Because he says that allows you to get your nose right in there, but it's not too big that you lose sense of what the wine is. So
then there was that wave for a time where like everyone were drinking big Cab Sauv, and like I remember like these big bowl, like at some point it went overblown. The size was so big, and you had to put like a third of a bottle in the bottom just to make sure you felt you had something in it. And my feeling with that is just the perfect size. It's not too small, but it's not too big. Like I said, I kind of have the perfect relationship with my wine. So I absolutely love it. And back to Lisa, our friend Lisa Goodnerson here. That's funny because when we were in Calgary, we did that wine dinner series with the Delta Marriott South Calgary. And we had the first time we met them, her and Jared, they were our neighbor, the hotel room next door. And these guys are walking in and they have their wine glasses. They carry their wine glasses everywhere. And so the first dinner, we already had our Gabriel glass, but obviously we didn't brought them to the hotel. And this is our neighbor. We're doing the whole thing, and like I'm just looking at them and say, "Hey, we love our glasses." I said, "We have them too." I said, "Why did you not bring them?" And
she gave us the best tip ever. I will never forget this tip. It was so awesome.
This box here is the perfect box to carry your glass. So the week after. And
I would have never thought of this. So this is why we're telling you, because I would have never thought of keeping the box so you can bring your glasses around with you. But brilliant tip, Lisa.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the perfect box to carry them. And now, just like the Goodnerson, we are carrying our Gabriel glass everywhere we go. Every time we go somewhere, there's a box of Gabriel glass coming with us. So, yeah.
So Daryl was there when I broke the first like $90 Gabriel Gold that we had. So Daryl, we have been looking for that clip because we're doing a bloopers reel for Carl's Wine Club, and I would love to find that clip again. I think it was in February of. No, that can't be.
No.
Is it in February of this year? No.
No, before that.
Yeah, so we have to look. If you can remember around the time that was, I need to, because we've looked all over for that stupid video where I broke the glass. Yeah.
So anyhow, so this is the part of it. This is the glass. This is the Enovino. Both are available right now on the link that you have here in the comments. Also,
it's worth it to mention the gold we've been talking about, the one that I broke far too easily, far too many times. I think maybe $1,000 worth of these gold glasses I've broken now. It is completely out of stock worldwide. There might be a couple retailers that weren't selling a lot of them that might have a few left, but right now that one is sold out because
it didn't make it on the boat to North America, so we cannot get our
COVID and the Suez Canal and I don't know what. So but anyway, they are far more expensive. They're wonderful, but for everyday drinking, this is definitely
the way to go. The way to go. So I want sorry. Before we talk about our project, give me 1 second here.
And Lisa's got to go. She's doing WSET 3 study time. Good luck, Lisa. That's awesome.
So,
got to get you some water. That's what I said before. We got to get you some water. And you were like, oh.
Yeah, I said, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay. I want to talk about forbearance because we had an epic drive on Saturday. We left early Saturday morning and we went to Lillooet and we had a heck of a time. Such a beautiful drive. So 3.5 hour northwest of Kelowna. We went out there to taste some wines at Forbearance, take some pictures, had the food we enjoyed for the last weekend of their seasonal kitchen there. It was an epic drive and an epic experience. We found some outstanding wines and a sense of place, because it's like traveling back in time. These giant space, it's like a, like this Clint Eastwood Western movie, Far West, where like if there's one rancher who lives on his own and he hop on his horse for 4 hours to go to the close little town.
Yeah, we saw two bears. We saw two bears right by us. So we'll show more pictures next time and a little video because it was just outrageously awesome. But this tells you a lot. Lillooet, guaranteed rugged.
Yeah, and the wines are amazing. So next Monday, we're getting an offer with Forbearance. We have a Pinot Gris, 2 Rieslings, a Cap Franc, a Pinot, and also a Meritage. The Meritage is an absolute rock star. So we're doing these 6 wines from Lillooet, 89, 90, 91, and the 92 points. These wines are superb. And there's also their entry-level Camel's wine, where I think it's something like $15 a bottle, a white blend and a red blend that we're going to have as a 6-pack bonus. So we're getting with, Northwest BC wine for next week's offer. So super thrilled about that. The wines are fun.
This is not us, obviously, but that's the view we sat at on Saturday.
I told them to move because I wanted to take a picture and they didn't want to leave their table. So.
and this tells you a little more here. Look at this place. Like, how spectacular. This is literally like you're driving, you're in the middle of no fucking where. You'll see one of the roads. We're going to put it in the video for next week. One of the roads we came down, I thought if there's another car coming the other way, we're both going to fall off the cliff. Like, it was crazy. And then you end up in this place with this like gorgeous winery with fantastic wines and fantastic food. Like, the food was spectacular too. So.
And funny enough, because we got to when we got to like we were driving and and I told Mira at some point, I can't fucking believe that there's going to be a winery somewhere at some point. And funny enough, 2 hours later, boom, like you turn like a 1 lane, like by a cliff, you go around another one, and bam, a vineyard, a 20-acre vineyard right in your face. You're like, holy shit, what is going on here? So yeah, really cool. And okay, the thing it's really important to understand here, the growing degree days, that's what is the unit, the heat unit that they use to measure how much heat you get during a growing season. To give you an example, Osoyoos Oliver, so it's the region, the sub-region who gets the most heat unit every year.
Canada's only desert, right?
Yeah, it's around 1,400 degree days per season. This is the exact same that what Lillooets get. It's more north, but it's a bowl. And I don't know if you remember, guys, the tragedy of the little town of Lytton. So the town Lytton, the town who burned down this summer. It's 30 minutes from. So this is one of the hottest spots in Canada. This summer during the heat wave in Western Canada, Lytton was every day the warmest place there. So they get the heat, they get the sun.
50 degrees.
They had 50 degrees consistently this summer. And so what happened here, they got the heat unit. They got enough heat to write Cap Sauv, Cap Franc, Merlot, name it. It's a little colder during the night, so they have even more
diurnal
temperature, so they preserve more the acidity on top of it. So that makes it for beautiful wines. There's some high score wine out there, like the Cap Franc was rated 92 points by Sarah D'Amato at Wine-A-Line. Multiple 90 points by Gismondi. Gismondi don't give 90 points to barely nobody anymore. I gave the 90 points to the Cap Sauv, to the Pinot. To me, the Meritage, I give it a 92. I think it's the rock star wine of the pack. The Rieslings, there are dry Rieslings and the regular Riesling, but even the regular Riesling is not sweet. It's only at 9 grams of residual sugar. So yeah, to answer Vicky's question, they've been around for 10 years now. So it's getting the vineyard is getting mature. They just planted another 18 hectares in the region. So they bring some fruit from the Okanagan. Probably a third of their fruit that they're using for their whole production comes from the Okanagan, a little bit from the Similkameen, and most of it come from their 20-acre home vineyard. So yeah.
It's pretty cool to see. Yeah, we'll talk more about that next week. It's a fascinating story. It's a couple from, I think, Holland, hey? Yeah, Amsterdam.
Yeah, they're Dutch. Yeah.
That moved out here specifically to start a winery in Lillooet.
In Lillooet. How nuts is that?
It's a crazy
That's
story.
so funny because Rolf was waiting for me when I got there, and he told me that we have the whole thing. It's just like a crazy story. Great people, passionate about what they do, and the wines are stunning. So coming up your way on Sunday night for the VIPs and on Monday morning for the rest. So here we are. Keep posting, guys. Keep posting on our VIP, everything you open. We love seeing pictures and what you think of the wines that you're tasting from the club or from somewhere else. Who cares? We just love to hear about you. YouTube channel, we're making some progress. We're having much more material coming your way soon on the YouTube channel. Carl and Mira is taking you there. We're going to have lots going on. And the new baby is coming up on October 15th. It's called Carl's Cellar. We have.
So if you're still on with us, you're the first in the world to hear about Carl's Cellar.
You're the first. No one knows. We never talk about it. There's only a few wineries that we approach and are excited to be part of it. We are creating a new marketplace where we're going to put some permanent offer who are going to change, but with the regular wineries. So now we have 8 wineries who are part of it, and we try to start. We're gonna start with 10. So for the first 6 months, we're gonna be around 10 wineries from all over Canada. Wineries who complement each other, wineries who are not competing on the same kind of portfolio, and we have some cool names that we already signed that already excited. But at any time, you guys can go on Carl Cellar and order some wines from one of these 10 wineries. So
and I think the key point here, though, Carl, is that we're going to launch a quiz to help you understand more about your palate and your wine preferences, basically. And based on that, if you do the quiz, we're going to be able to send you some suggestions, some ideas, right, of what to try next. So, hey, we noticed you really liked this Riesling. Well, you might enjoy trying this Riesling next. So it's just a little bit like the Netflix for Canadian wine.
Daryl, you're kidding me, Daryl. Kidding me. No, I can't.
It's so hard to do right now, but it's such a great question, Daryl. But it's hard to do because of the laws in different provinces.
The legislation is just so stiff about that, and it's on a operation standpoint and logistics standpoint, it's almost impossible. We're working with an Ontario-only mixed case. We hope to be able to do it by November, but it's still logistically, it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, so what Daryl's talking about is mixed cases, as in you can order, a couple reds from this winery, a couple whites from this winery of different Canadian wineries. Because of the way that our archaic liquor laws are set up in Canada, it doesn't really allow for that right now very easily, which is crazy, because I can order a mixed case probably from some other country really easily. But yeah.
So no, not at this point, not a mixed case of mixed vineyards, but yeah. So say, Mira, can I mention a few names?
Yes, I think you could.
Okay. So, few names here who are already signed and already part of it. There is Westcott for you, Daryl. Westcott,
yes,
part of Carl Cellar. After the meeting we had when I was there a couple weeks ago, I spent some good time with Grant and Carolyn, and they are part of it. So super excited. We have 13th Street Winery as well with Jean-Pierre. Cola, their winemaker, are signed and part of it. Cellar 2027 are just about 2027 Cellar, yes, are just about to be confirmed. Small little producer from the bench in Jordan Station, so this is exciting. Out of BC, we have Hillside Estate from Naramata Bench. We have Tender Hope, our friend Effie at Tender Hope, who brings half of his grape from Washington State. We have Stag's Hollow, who confirmed this afternoon. So Stag's Hollow from Okanagan Falls. Times family of wine. Times will feature to start Evolve and Kronos. Kronos is their new brand. So we have them confirmed. Who else? There's confirmed working still, but highly probable with Lunescence, Spearhead. So yeah, we have a good lineup and couple under. In an hour and 20 minutes, I'm going to talk with Mark Simpson with Siren's Call, which is another good option for us. So we are looking for 10 wineries with 10 different portfolios where are going to be open for business at all time, but not necessarily always the same feature. We will mix it up with times, and so yeah, it's really exciting, really, really exciting.
Yeah, thanks, Vicky. So the idea being that tell Marcel to step up. Yeah, well, we're doing something cool with Marcel too. We have.
Okay. Do
All
you
right.
want to say that right away? Okay, come on. Okay, you go ahead.
The labels just arrived yesterday. I don't even know if I have a picture of them. We have, Daryl, guys, we have a Carl's Wine Club members red blend from the which vintage? 19 vintage, Carl?
No, for the 2019 vintage. 2019 vintage, fruits from all from the Bellaterra vineyard. So we made a blend. Marcel, Lou, Fred, and I, and Mira, we made a blend for the members blend, and it's going to be ready in 2 weeks. It's bottled. We just received the label, and yeah.
Is it VQA? Did we get the label with VQA?
It is VQA. It is VQA.
Well, that's exciting. So yes, that, and then we have another Carl's Wine Club exclusive blend coming from Kelowna as well very soon.
This is the Tender Hope Meritage Reserve, 40 cases of that made premium Meritage with fruits from Osoyoos, Oliver, and Kelowna. So
yeah, we did the blending with the winemaker for that back in like January. I think we posted about it, but we didn't say what it was for, and that's what it was for. So it's been a while in the making, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Elaine saying, can you get same varietal kits from different wineries, like a Cab Franc kit? We love that. And that's what we were saying about with the Daryl saying about the mixed packs. The legislation across provinces makes it really difficult to co-pack wine from different wineries, which really sucks. But we can do varietal kits from the same winery when sometimes they have different vineyards, different plots of the same wine, but you can do a varietal kit that way. And we're working on some options to do varietal kits from different wineries too. It's just a lot trickier than it would be if, say, we wanted to do a varietal kit from France or from, I don't know, Australia. That'd be a lot easier. But since it's Canadian,
for that now you need to be a retail store, and we will lose everything that we have built if we become a retail store. So
it's crazy. So yeah, Daryl's saying $5 bottle taxes in woohoo lol. Yeah. And hello.
No, Daryl, the first bottle is free for you. We'll have one sent over to you in a week as a little thank you gift for you to be such a pain in the butt. So
all right. So no, what we mean is that we're gonna send out a few little teaser bottles of this Carl's Wine Club members red, just to see what you guys think, and we'll be launching that probably in a few weeks. Yeah, so they'll make good Christmas presents, all kinds of fun things. We're also wondering if we can tie in a charity with some of these things we're doing. So if there's some
that's probably going to be a $2 per bottle is going to go to a charity. If anyone has any idea or any charity of choice that you guys would like to suggest, please forward that suggestion over. We love to hear from you. We would love to support something that it's close to your heart. So we were talking about that. So we would like to hear from you as well.
Carl, you got a compliment on your vernacular. Carl doesn't know what that word means. Okay.
English, second language, right? So
no, yeah, he does. Elaine, you're right. Like, that's what we love about you, Carl, is you're so enthusiastic and you've got such great language to describe different things, and you're very thoughtful. So we love it.
There you go. So I have promised for 3 kids to take them to the park. It is now 6:15. I have to live up to my pinky promise. And yeah, so a couple things before we recap. Enovino, Gabriel Glasses, on the email here. The link is right there. Next Monday or Sunday, we have Fort Barons from Little Web, BC coming your way. Carl Seller still building on that, but it's a fact. It's coming on October 15 for the launch, the grand opening, and yeah, there was a fun show. Enjoyed talking with all of you. Enjoy arguing with you, Daryl. It's awesome. And all of you, Carl's Wine Club members, Canadian wine lovers, Mira Boucher.
Carl
Thank you.
Boucher.
I hope you're ready for the park because we are hitting the playground and it's freaking cold out here. I don't feel like it, but I need to do it. So
Awesome. Well, it was great to see you guys. See you real soon. Very soon, in fact. We might actually be online tomorrow night with
tomorrow with Sherry Carlo and Sachs from Carlo Estate Winery. They contacted us today. They want to do a little Cellar Confidential tomorrow, so that's coming your way at 5 o'clock if you want to spend some time, talk about Chardonnay, Pinot, Malbec.
Gail has a fabulous note here. Tomorrow's National Indigenous Peoples Day. Perhaps that charity could be considered. Totally. And you know what else? Because if we do go live tomorrow, we're just confirming it. But if we do go live, perhaps we can do something around that. Because I know that Incomip Cellars and the Chief Louis, I believe, out there, they're fabulous around wine, and perhaps they can start us off or something like that. So we'll see what we can pull off. But thanks for that reminder, Gail. That's a really great reminder. Tomorrow, you're not going to be getting any wine because it's a stat holiday, because we are remembering about National Indigenous Peoples Day and all that entails. So thanks, Gail, for that reminder.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, for all of you across the country, thank you. We'll chat with you very soon.
Cheers.